Hi children, welcome back to online class. I am Benila, your English teacher. Let us move on to supplement reader unit 1 after 20 years written by O. Henry. In the previous video, I taught you about the introduction and a few more paragraphs it is completed. So in this video, we will see the remaining paragraphs, right? Okay. So what is the story about is two friends, right? Who are the two friends? Bob and Jimmy Wells. And one more character is that patrolman. Which place they are? They are in the place of New York, right? So the situation it is happening in the New York. At night 10 o'clock it is happening, right? The writer O. Henry wanted to tell the story with some twist at the end, right? And he wanted to tell how people change over time. And here you can understand about when the two friends they are meeting, what happens there, right? About that only the story is. Okay, so the paragraph starts with when a policeman he is walking in the avenue with his own habitual activities, right? Where they'll be watching very keenly and he's checking whether all the doors are locked properly or not, like that. He is twirling his club. Club means that stick, right? Okay, with that he is twisting and spinning around that and he is walking by in that place. In New York, the majority places belongs to business persons, and now in this place there is a one hardware store is there. That is that they will be selling tools, everything. No, that place one store, one hardware store is there. So there one man is leaning on the wall and he is having a cigar in his mouth which is not lighted, right? With that he is standing there. So now the policeman he is walking through that way or he is checking. By seeing the policeman, the man who was leaning on that store, he started to spoke very quickly. So now the policeman is asking why you are standing here, everything. So the man is telling about before 20 years we had an appointment with his friend. He had an appointment like that. When he says the policeman feels that he is talking very funny, right? So if somebody is telling like this, before 20 years we had an appointment and regarding that I am standing here, if somebody says, you'll be feeling funny, right? Like that he is telling. But now the man wanted to tell again about the Big Joe's Brady restaurant. Before many years there was a restaurant here. So in that place only we was having our dinner and we have depart each other. So when he's telling about this all things, the policeman was able to believe because Big Joe's Brady restaurant was there before many years, and recently only for 5 years ago only it is turned into they have demolished and they made us a hardware store. So the policeman knows all the things and he is believing what the man is telling that. Okay, so and we will see about his appearance, how he is. When the other person, the policeman, was able to notice his appearance when the man was lighting his cigar up, right? So when the cigar light it is burned, so he was able to identify the face, how the man was there, and how he was means a pale and the jaw faced, square jaw faced he was, right? You might have seen some person with a square shape. Their jaw will be right with the keen eyes he was, and a little white scar was there in his right eyebrows, and he was having a scar pin also which was fixed with a diamond. Okay, so this all the things shows that he is a rich man, right? Okay, the remaining paragraph only we'll see in this video, right? Take a book, page number 28. 20 years ago tonight, said the man, I dined here at Big Joe's Brady's with Jimmy Wells, my best chum and the finest chap in the world. He and I were raised here in New York just like two brothers, together. I was 18 and Jimmy was 20. The next morning, I was to start for the West to make my fortune. You could not have dragged Jimmy out of New York. He thought it was the only place on earth. Well, we agreed that night that he would meet here again exactly 20 years from the date and time. No matter what our conditions might be or from what distance we might have to come. We figured that in 20 years each of us ought to have our destiny worked out and our fortunes made, whatever they were going to be. So the explanation for this paragraph, the man who was leaning on the hardware store, no, that man is telling to the policeman that he's talking about before 20 years what happened. He's telling, so before 20 years I dined here at Big Joe's Brady restaurant. Dine means to eat. We had our food in the Big Joe's Brady restaurant. There we had. And he's talking about Jimmy Wells. Who is Jimmy Wells? He is a very good best friend. Chum means friend. So he is talking about his friend, and he is the finest chap in the world. Chap means man. Okay, so he is a very good man in this world, he's telling. Jimmy Wells is a very good friend of me, and we both, how we came up, like a brothers, we came up in this New York. Together we grown in this New York, and he's talking about his own age. So Bob was 18 years old and Jimmy was 20 years old. So that day, after having a dinner, they wanted to move each other to their own business. That is, Bob wanted to go for west to make his own fortune. Fortune means to make his money, earning, right? So he was not able to pull Jimmy out of this place. Dragging means to pull. He could not able to pull out of New York, because Jimmy is thinking that the only whole earth, New York is the best place he is feeling. So we cannot make Jimmy out of this place. And they had a plan that time. What is that? Exactly the same date and time they have to come to this place. It doesn't matter where they are coming from, even from the distance. If they are coming also, it doesn't matter, but they have to come to the same place. So in that 20 years, they will be able to confirm their fate, what they have to work, their fortunes, what they have made, everything. It will become to know it very clearly. So they will be able to discuss after 20 years. So this was the plan, and they are moving from that. Next paragraph. It sounds pretty interesting, said the policeman. Rather a long time between mates, though, it seems to me. Haven't you heard from your friends since you left? So the policeman is asking, so it is very interesting to hear your stories, and whether you had any chance to meet your friend, or had any communication between each other in between these many years, like that he is asking. So the person is replying, well, yes, for a long time we corresponded, said the other. But after a year or two, we lost track of each other. You see, the West is a pretty big proportion, and I kept hustling around over it pretty lively. But I know Jimmy will meet me here if he is alive, for he always was the truest, staunchest old chap in the world. He will never forget. I came 1,000 miles to stand in this door tonight, and it's worth it if my old partner turns up. So the man who was leaning on the hardware store is answering. There is a Bob is answering to the policeman that, yeah, for a few years we corresponded. Corresponded means we had a communicated each other. But after that we lost the track. So where he is and what he is doing, everything, I couldn't find out, like that he is telling. And now the West is a very big proportion. Proportion means it is a very big theory or system it is. And we have to be very hurry. Hustling means we have to be very hurry, and we have to live very present of mind is needed to live there, like that he is telling about the west side. And he knows about Jimmy. If Jimmy is alive, he will be able to come here at this place correct time, because he is a very truest friend. That is a staunchest means trust person, and he is a very good chap means old, a good man in this world, he said. No, so like that he is a very good person. So if he is alive, what he will do, he will be able to come. So now Bob wanted to tell that he came 1,000 miles far away to meet his friend. So when as he is standing tonight in this door, his friend comes means it will be a very greatest one for him. Like that he start telling about the experience to the policeman. Next, the waiting man pulled out a handsome watch, the lids of it set with the small diamonds. So now the Bob, what he is doing, he is pulling out his handsome watch. That is a pretty watch he is pulling out from his hands. That is the lid, everything how it is means small diamonds it is fixed in that. Okay, so already we know that by when he had a pin in the scar pin was diamond, we understood that he is a rich man. So when he went west place and he became very rich by his hard work, we understood. And here now again he is telling about the watch. That is also it is fixed with the diamonds. So we can understand that he has earned more in west. Next, 3 minutes to 10, he announced. It was exactly 10 o'clock when we parted here at the restaurant door. So now Bob is telling only 3 more minutes are there. But before 20 years, exactly at 10 o'clock, we have departed from this restaurant. What is the restaurant name? Big Joe's Brady Restaurant. That place, exactly 10 we departed. But now still more, 3 more minutes are there to we get into 10. Did pretty well out west, didn't you? Asked the policeman. So the policeman is asking, how did you feel about the west side? What do you feel? Like that he's asking. You bet. I hope Jimmy has done half as well. He was a kind of plodder though, a good fellow as he was. I have had to compete with some of the sharpest wits going to get my pile. A man gets in a grove in New York. It takes the West to put a razor edge on him. So Bob is telling, you bet. Yeah, surely I have done it well. And he's telling about Jimmy. Jimmy might have done at least a half of the what Bob has earned or Bob has reached. So the same half at least Jimmy might have achieved, because Jimmy also is a very good plodder. Plodder means who will be working very slow but steady, a steady person, and he is a good fellow also. So he might have earned at least half of Bob, like that he is thinking and he is telling. And in the New York, it is very tough for the persons to compete each other and coming up. So even in the cities, what is that? It is we have to struggle a lot and we have to come up, right? So he is telling about a man in the New York, it will be going in a grove. Grove means dull routine, it will be going. But in the New York, in the West, what is that? The people have to struggle. That for them, it is a razor edge. Razor edge, he is telling about critical situation. So it is not easy to come up. Okay, so defeating other persons and coming up is not an easy. We have to use our brains. That which means intelligent peoples will be there. So among them we have to come up, means it is the toughest one. It is a critical situation to come in West. But in the New York, it is going in a dull routine way. It will be going on. So next paragraph. The policeman twirled his club and took a step or two. So usually the policeman, he was having his club in his hand and he was twisting that, the same way he started to move. I will be on my way. Hope your friend comes around all right. Going to call time on him sharp. So the policeman is telling bye and he's wanted to go away from this place because he is telling that your friend will be coming around this time. So you can meet your friend, and he is telling to move. I should say not, said the other. I will give him half an hour at least. If Jimmy is alive on earth, he will be on here by that time. So long, officer. So now Bob is telling to police that I have to wait still more half an hour, because if Jimmy is alive, surely he will be coming in this place at proper time. So as I have to wait for him, I will be doing that. Good night, sir, said the policeman, pausing on along his beat, trying doors as he went. So how the policeman was walking, he was trying all the doors, whether it is closed or not. He was checking and he was walking on that. So the same way he is telling good night, and the policeman is moving from that place. Okay. So can you guess the story? Whether Jimmy Wells will be on the place at correct time? Whether he will be coming? Okay, you can guess it, right? Okay, so there is a lot of changes in this part. There is a climatical changes also it shows here, right? Okay, the next paragraph says about, there was now a fine, cold drizzle falling, and the wind had risen from its uncertain puffs into a steady blow. The few foot passengers astir in that quarter hurried dismally and silently along with coat collars turned high and pocketed hands. And in the door of the hardware store, the man who had come 1,000 miles to fill an appointment, uncertain almost to absurdity with the friend of his youth, smoked his cigar and waited. Now policeman went away from the place. Now before the hardware store, only Bob is standing alone, and at his time is 10 o'clock, and the climate, everything had a good season, right? So how the climate, it is explained here is drizzling. The rain is falling slowly, and the wind, it is making its puffs it is making to blow out, and the food passengers, that is people who is walking through that way, everyone, they are very hurriedly, they are walking without any happiness. Dismally means without any happiness, they are moving here and there, because at 10 o'clock there is the climate also is different. So everybody, they are moving very silently, and their coat collars, everything, it is turned up high. Okay, so when they, as because of the chillness, they wanted to wear the coat till the collars, everything is turned up near the ears, it touches. So like that they are, and they are keeping their hands also in the pocket, not to feel the chillness. And here now, who is standing there in that hardware store? Bob is standing there, and he is waiting. He came from 1,000 miles away, and he had an appointment to meet his friend. What is that? Jimmy Wells, right? And for that, he is lighting up the cigar, smoking that, and he is waiting for that, for his friend. Okay, so here this passage, it is telling about the climatic changes in the place. Next paragraph. About 20 minutes he waited, and then a tall man in a long overcoat with collar turned up to his ears hurried across from the opposite side of the street. He went directly to the waiting man. So now after 20 minutes he was waiting there, right? Bob was waiting there for 20 minutes. That time one man, he is a tall man, and he is having a long overcoat, and he also having the collars, everything is turned up to his ears, and he is rushing, and he is coming to this poor man who was waiting there, who was waiting there in that hardware store, towards him. The man is coming from the opposite side of the street. He is coming directly to the man. Okay, so now the next paragraph says, is that you, Bob? He asked doubtfully. So that man who is rushing and coming, that man, he is asking, are you Bob? Is that you, Jimmy Wells? Cried the man in the door. So who is that? Bob also is asking, are you Jimmy Wells? And he is shouting. Crying means shouting and asking that. Bless my heart, exclaimed the new arrival, grasping both the other's hand with his own. It's Bob, sure as fate. I was certain I would find you here if you were still in existence. Well, 20 years is a long time. The old restaurant's gone, Bob. I wish it had lasted, so we could have had another dinner there. How has the West treated you, old man? Now, Bob was waiting for his friend, and Jimmy came there, and two also introduced each other, and they was very much surprised, and he's telling, bless my heart. He's surprising, and he's exclaiming, and he's talking about that, and they was holding their hands each other, and they was thinking about their fate to meet each other, right? They are talking about that 20 years is a very long time to meet each other friends, right? And they are talking about the restaurant also. If the restaurant was there here, they might have gone for the another one more dinner, because many years, 20 years before, they had the food right in the restaurant. So the same way they might have had the good experience that all that in that place, right? And now he is asking, Jimmy is asking, how the West treated you, Bob, like that. He don't want to call the name Bob. He's teasing and talking, because 20 years later means it is a old person, right? So he's calling old man. Bully, it has given me everything I asked it for. You have changed lots, Jimmy. I never thought you were so tall by 2 or 3 inches. So bully means scolding very lovable manner, right? Like fighting time, we'll be scolding our friends, like that he is talking. And Bob is telling about West. When he went to West, whatever he need, everything he was able to get it there, right? And he's telling Jimmy how he is, a lot of changes are there in Jimmy, and he was very little more tall. He grew up, okay, nearly 2 or 3 inches he grew up. Like that he is talking about Jimmy also, right? You can imagine how the two friends might have talked each other. After 20 years they are meeting. Lot of things will be there to talk, right? Okay. So here we will see the remaining paragraphs, what they are talking, how they are happy living, and what are the experience they are sharing. What is the twist the author wanted to say at the last, everything we will see in the next video, right? Okay. Hope you all understood very clearly. If any doubt is there, you can ask in the remaining classes, right? Thank you, students. Take care. Bye-bye. you.